I look at life like a marathon. More so than the physical side is the mental aspect of being committed to something that challenges you. The vision you got for your life is delusional. People like you don't even achieve on that level. The thing that kept me going boiled down to one question. Would you rather be at war with yourself and at peace with the world? Or at peace with yourself and at war with the world?
And you are now tuned in to the Hunger for More.
Now tuned into none other than
the Hunger for More. The Hunger for More.
With B. Will,
yo.
He's in,
yo, what's good?
And Just you.
This is the Hunger for More. This is it. This is Hunger for More. This is something special for us. I know it's special for me, being able to get on here with my brothers, Tyler, Just. I think about that clip that we just watched, and I think instinctively, it's something that really ties us all together, you know? I think us being the talented, award-winning, Black creatives that we are, there's times when we feel like we're at war with ourselves a little bit, whether it's the project we're on, the way we're looked at internally, the way we're looked at externally. But I think we took it upon ourselves to really flip that, like Nipsey was talking about. I think we just really attached ourselves to his principles. And I think from that, we offer our version of everything he was teaching us. And so the Hunger for More isn't a Nipsey Hussle podcast. It's for those that want to be inspired, those that have inquisitive minds, those that are creative, those that want to be their best selves. It's a lifestyle podcast. It's a self-improvement podcast. It's a little bit of everything. And I think that's why that one-of-one call-out really hits home, because each of us are one of one. But when you can find those threads that link you to like-wired and like-minded people, it's really special. So with that being said, T, Just, let the people know about you.
What an intro. Go ahead, Just.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, welcome to Hunger for More. And Justin Joseph, a longtime creative, Caribbean kid by way of Connecticut, New York, Jersey, all over the country, if you will. Yeah, man, we're here to share three Black men on this journey of creativity, thought, process, sports, you name it. And I'm fortunate on many levels, blessed to be amongst you creatives, amongst you brothers, and also for you guys out there listening to share our thoughts, views, hear your ideas, hear your thoughts and views. We're here for this journey together. Ambition, goals, the hunger for more. Salute.
Yeah, man. I'm Tyler. Go by many names, T, Ty, TZ, as I'm sure you'll start to hear. But yeah, like they said, and just to kind of tie it all together, we overall Nipsey was about growth. Right. And that is, I feel like, at the core of what we are going to talk about with this podcast, whether it's mental growth, physical growth, relationship growth, career growth, whatever it is, striving to be better every day. And so I feel like with every song, with every bar, whatever that I would hear from Nipsey, it would be that. It would be growing and getting better. So I don't think we're portraying ourselves to be any kind of self-help experts. We're not therapists. We're not personal trainers. We're not any of that. It's us sharing our stories, our experiences, and possibly teaching, but at the same time learning from each other and just trying to be better overall. So I'm excited for this journey, and let's get started. Let's get it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, I've been watching Wu-Tang, and I just watched a Raekwon episode. I feel like this is our purple tape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ooh.
It's only built for Cuban links and
purple intercourse.
Yeah, get it.
Talk to him.
Yeah, I gotta talk my shit a little bit. Cuban links. The reason why it was that is because the way that it's connected is so tight, it's unbreakable. And I feel like using that as an analogy, I think that's what we are. But also when I bring in the purple tape aspect, back then, every tape was, carbon gray, clear cassette. You might get an all black joint. And Raekwon's genius, creative genius, his curiosity to try something different. He said, let's flip it on his head. Let's do purple. And so obviously X amount of years later, it's legendary for that reason. And so I'm gonna let that light blue speak to our ambition. And that light blue is our stamp. It's okay to wanna have ambition to elevate. It's okay to be a canvas of your experiences. And it's damn sure okay to be able to share that with your people. And I hope as you continue along with us on this journey that you become our people. So with all that said, man, Hunger for More. I know all of us, man, we grew up in the 90s, 80s, radio's popping, but I feel like that was like my birth to storytelling. That was my intro to storytelling. I remember, growing up in SoCal and Tustin. Man, I go home, I cut on 92.3 the beat, I'm listening to Theo.
What's up, Theo?
So I'm on Power 106, Big Boy, the legend.
Power 106, Big Boy. Little Snoop Dogg and Dogg and Nate Dogg.
But that was our form of entertainment. The way that they were able to really infiltrate our lives, and every moment we had to be around the radio, and if you weren't, you wouldn't be able to even chop it up with some of the people, did you hear the new song? Did you hear the joint that they played? And so I feel like it's something special about being able to let your mind wander while your ears are listening. Each viewer has that ability to create their own vision of what it is that you're saying. So, man, let's touch on that a little bit. What was it like for you, T, growing up, listening to the radio up in Portland, bro?
The radio for me symbolizes culture in a way as well as storytelling, but I feel like for us Black folks, one of the biggest elements of our culture is music. And especially back in the day when I was coming up, there was no, internet, there was no LimeWire, there was no DatPiff, no Spotify, no none of that. So in order to hear these cuts and in order to be a part, like you said, it'd be like 4 or 5 o'clock and they would start playing the new joints. Make sure you come back, for the new joints. And you didn't want to miss out. Oh, you didn't hear that new 50 Cent? Like the next day at school, you miss out on that. You're almost like cut out of the conversation. And, if you think about it even deeper, cut out of the culture for that day. So for me, it was all about being inclusive and then being in that segment of population that was, I'm a hip hop listener. So it was mainly hip hop for me. And in a way, to go back to Nip, my favorite rappers are those storytellers. So, that's the big thing for me. Looking back, just at 4 o'clock, you get home from school and it's like, okay, here are the new hot joints. It's crazy because now the radio, new hot joints for them, it's shit we've been listening to for 3 months on Spotify already. So it's sad to see how that has evolved. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the radio and just kind of like how, it's got a soft spot for me too, because I, don't even listen to it anymore. But when I did, it was, I was 10, 11, 13 years old. So
to even take it a step further with me, I would honestly say my version of being around that, if you will, the fireside, right? The fireside chat. Now everyone does it when they do these big conferences and someone sits down and someone's going to be the narrator and everyone kind of gathers to hear this person speak. The cool part is, especially for us, if you will, Black folks, folks of color, immigrant, this, that, and the third, I can even point out as a little kid, my fireside chat was rocking at a family birthday party, family get together, Thanksgiving, whatever it may be, a meal around the dinner table. And I'm the youngest at the table and I'm hearing everybody around me telling stories from Antigua, the Caribbean, down in down under, if you will, because like I said, family all over, England, this, that, and the third. And now that I'm a family man myself, one of the things I catch our son doing is when we're having our gatherings and get-togethers, he's now sitting around. My nephews are now sitting around. You can see them listening. Sure, they're playing on little iPads and all this good stuff. We can hear them listening. And all of a sudden, they look up, they laugh, they want to put their 2 cents in. It's dope.
Yeah.
But then fast forward, as I got older, right? I'm this Northeast kid by way of Caribbean / Canada. And my father, I'm blessed to have it where my family is all musicians. My dad's side, at least, all musicians. My mom's side is all athletes. And growing up, it was dope because here's a situation with my father, classical musician, band, my uncles, the same thing, aunties, singers, all that good stuff. And here this thing that came across, this art form called rap, hip hop. And I'm playing it in the house. And my pops is like, what is this? And he was I'll tell you now, and families who's listening will tell you, they're not into it. They thought it was repetitive, this, that, and the third. Even when I made the argument of who was producing, and later in my life, and I told my dad, yo, DJ Premier did this. Here's the original track. Here's the original sample. He just felt it wasn't of this quote-unquote classic form, which we'll talk about later on this podcast down the line. Classical music, who told us what? But yeah, man, radio, Brian and T, to your point, you guys had that West Coast vibe, Northwest vibe. I'm the Northeast kid. So I had Hot 97, had DJ Red Alert. I had Bobito on 89.9, 89.1, which was a college station. So these dudes are playing Woo. They're playing Mos Def. They're playing Ray. And I got to call you out, B. You talk about the purple tape, you got to show the love to my man Ghostface.
No doubt.
Ghostface, you know what I mean? I know Ray said, I don't want nobody sounding like me on any album. But we got to give it up to my man Ghost. But yeah, man, all those dudes is crazy. And to your point about the tape, real quick, the crazy part is me and the fellas would record that Thursday night, stretch and bob and stretch, And then all of a sudden what we would do is take our tapes, the 90-minute records, 120-minute records, come into school the next day and play down whatever it was. And I know one of the biggest things that we did in high school, and even before that, elementary school and all that stuff, we would play like Protect Your Neck. And dudes were like, what the hell is this? And Staten Island, to your point being about listening to, watching the Wu-Tang joint, we didn't know what Staten Island was. We knew the other boroughs. We had no idea what Staten Island was and where these dudes were coming from. You feel me? So,
it's a great point.
Man. Beautiful topic.
It's a great point, and I think, just hearing both of you talk, man, it's like synergy in between these two topics we're talking about, right? We're talking about music. We're talking about storytelling. I think the link that ties the two together, right? Storytelling is the oldest form of entertainment, right? I often wander and go back and be like, what were the cavemen? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did they have as entertainment? It was like when Hunter-Gatherer X came back from his adventure, he's going straight to the fire. He needs that heat. But the family's around. Yeah, family's around. And he's telling the story. Yo, exactly. Everyone's like, oh my God.
And he's bloody on the cheek. You got blood on the cheek. Oh!
Pulls out the tooth at the end. I did it. You know what I'm saying? It was the first form of entertainment. But I bet you if we did the research and the history, music brings people together as well. It's like food, music, storytelling. Those three things always find a way to be intertwined. When we sit down and we eat dinner, we talking about our day. When you just said, Jay, when you and Young Malik, the Young King, when y'all are listening to music, it's always stories being brought up. I remember when this first came out, Jay, I remember. And it's like this unifying element between all three.
It was a breakthrough for me because I've never been introduced to the concept of emotional intelligence. So once I became aware with the concept, I started to become more self-aware. I started to analyze how my lack of understanding my emotions was affecting the people around me. And once I became more self-aware, I was able to become more socially aware and see how other people's emotions were trickling down to just the energy and everything. And it single-handedly changed my life because we're emotional beings. And then especially as men, as black men, we were taught not to be emotional. And the funny thing is, that makes us even more emotional. Lashing out, rage, frustration.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's the emotion that is acceptable from men.
Yeah, but that's not acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Like that shouldn't be acceptable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
but
we
to be soft.
And that's the thing, is being emotionally aware has nothing to do with being soft.
Right.
You and a black man is in a heated conversation and you tell him he's being emotional, that might trigger him. You know what I'm saying? And with reality, he is being emotional, especially if you calm and he's screaming and boom, boom, boom. It's like, yo. And this is why it's important for everyone to be in a growth mindset. Because you see, the thing is, if I'm in a growth mindset and I approach a fixed mindset person, I'm like, okay, cool. You good the shit out of them. Like, you win. And then I'm out of there. Because my mindset is growing. I see you locked into place.
So, man, what really caught me with this clip, man, you know, I try to do every morning I wake up is find positive things that give me direction for the day. And I remember when I found this Joey Badass clip, just to hear like the way he broke it down and he interpreted energy. I think like having a positive energy and a positive mindset is like portrayed as if you got to be perfect. Like you wake up, I am the powerful being. So if that is how you achieve it, then respect. But I feel like I take it as being positive, waking up with a purposeful energy, no matter what I face today. And I'm not going to let this send me on a track that I didn't intend on going on when I woke up. I think that is about good energy, positive energy.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm working on. Just personally for me is I'm still trying to develop my emotional control. Like if I wake up in a certain kind of way, I just kind of, that's just going to be how it is. And I'm really trying to work on having the strength to shift that, right? If I'm tired, I just be feeling like, oh, I'm tired, and trying to really have the strength to be like, no, we're going to get, or if I wake up in a bad mood or if I wake up stressed, most days I just kind of let that dictate my day. Whereas like I'm really trying to, like Joey Badass was talking about, be cognizant of, okay, now I'm putting it on my girl. My girl woke up in a good mood, but now I'm dragging her down. Or now, I'm in a salty mood, and now when I'm on a meeting with my team at work or whatever, they can pick up on it, and now it also starts to shape their perception of me. So, I can get up and go to the gym, no problem, and I can lift the weights and change my body, or I could, buy some new stuff around this apartment and change my environment. But changing my emotions and my mentality is just tough for me. So I'm working on it. But like you said, gratitude is number one for me. Waking up and just trying to be grateful is a really big thing to help me kind of shape my emotions for the day. And so I'm not perfect with it, but I'm trying to work on it. And yeah, I am aware of the fact we do have the ability to control our emotions though, and reshape how we're feeling at that particular day. So I'll be interested to see how what are some things that you do? So if you wake up in a funky mood, or if you wake up stressed, or if you wake up, like, how are you guys able to shift that if you are, right? Like, what are some actions that you actually do?
Here's the crazy part, right? A couple things. As my brothers know, going through a lot right now, family-wise and professionally and stuff like that. And just to be fully transparent, and thanks for asking, T, because that's another thing. We don't ask each other, yo, I need help, or what do you guys do? And the simple fact that Joey Badass says again, with the name of Joey Badass, he can walk around acting like everything's gravy. Feel me? A lot of dudes can walk around like it's gravy, but he's here like, yo, no, look at this. I just figured out something, that this shit is contagious, as another brother said on the interview. But the point is, I'm going through it right now, and that me seeing my therapist, one of the best things I've ever done for myself, self-care wise. And I was in a situation, I hit her up via message. She hit me back with a simple direction. And this is for all y'all, and Tyler, you asked. She goes, listen to your nervous system. And I was like, what? So I hit her back. I was like, what you mean? She's like, listen to your nervous system. You wake up feeling a certain way, listen to it, and then say to yourself, why am I feeling this way? Look around you, this, that, and the third. If you're feeling good, of course, why are you feeling good? Look around you. If it's obviously something that's hurting you, this, that, and the third, that is something that you obviously have to recognize yourself. But listening to your nervous system, some of the best advice I've ever given. Simple as it sounds, but it's really true. Because if you're feeling a certain type of way and you're not feeling okay, this is another thing that I also learned, it's okay not to be okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and Joey's making a point like, yo, you wake up in a bad mood and this, that, and the third with people around you. Be conscious of that. Still respect yourself, have that nervous system, but obviously know that could project on others. But again, self-care. You don't want to deny yourself what your body's actually feeling. And I got to tell you, what I've been going through, continue to be going through, it's been a blessing in disguise. And I'm again, fortunate, your point, Tyler, woke up blessed, feeling blessed, very grateful for what I have, what I continue to have, what I've given in regards to my family. But at the same time, I also got to be aware of this is a self-care thing. taking care of myself.
Because it's like, when we're thirsty, we go get some water. When we're hungry, we go get some food. When we got to go to the bathroom, we go, so like you listen to your body in other aspects.
Yes,
but when it comes to emotions or like you said, nervous system, it's almost like a disconnect, right? Like, okay, you're tired, you listen to your body, you go lay down. You're hot, you listen to your body, you turn the AC on. Whatever, we do it so much in those physical aspects that it's almost like foreign to do it in an emotional or mental sense. So, you know what I'm saying?
Well said, brother.
Because we listen to our body, uncomfortable, you get a pillow or you do, whatever the case may be. So it's like,
That's a good point.
That I'm just trying to say that pathway of listening to our body is already established. It's just kind of like, why is it when it's emotions or a mental state, which is still part of the body, it's difficult to do. So,
well, I think Pete, you hitting on a lot of things, but I think it's really something unique when it comes to us too. I think in our lives, by whether for good or bad, choice or force, we get taught, hold it in, especially coming from athletic backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? Coming from instances where, emotion can be viewed as weakness. And this isn't nothing that, many of y'all, I'm sure, haven't heard, but we take it as if, man, a sign of weakness for me to say I'm having a bad day. It's a sign of weakness for me to walk around with my head down, chest out, head up. That shit ain't gonna get you down. And I feel like our generation, we've taken a big step as far as emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, health, wellness, because I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. Like, I can't really rap about it with my parents. You know what I'm saying? They, not because they don't have an ear to hear, but they come from a different era where it was like, I gotta suck it up, bootstrap, all that stuff, keep it moving. And so I feel like in a tough way, it's always tough being a pioneer, being the first one to step in foreign ground. And not that we are, but I do feel in some ways for those that are attached to us, families, cousins, friends, we all are doing something that's unique due to the circumstances that we've been through the past 3 years with the pandemic, BLM, work from home, man, you know what it is, like all these different things. It's like, man, we all hit a midlife crisis over the past 3 years, from the emotional stress, tension, all this stuff that we're facing. So for me, I really try to be, just almost militant and like, today I'm going to wake up and conquer today. I'm not saying like, every day I think that and every day it works just like that. But the process and the schedule, the routine that I continue to implement, again, with having that athletic background, when I'm up, I got 15 minutes to get to that gym. I don't care if I got to crawl, walk, whatever. I'm getting to that gym and I'm pressing that treadmill because I know when I do that, I'm going to listen to my book. I've been on, 3 Magic Words of the Energy Codes. Once I put that in, I know I'm going to hear something that sparks a thought or plants a seed or changes my approach to how I was feeling potentially. And then obviously sweating and, get my blood flowing, moving. I'm more upbeat. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And now, but for me mentally, again, getting a little, mama mentality with it, I like to push myself to my limits before I allow someone in the outside world or society to push me to my limits. So that's what that represents to me, whether it's boxing, whether it's getting on the treadmill, whether it's body weight, whatever. I want to push my limits before I allow something in the world to push my limits and alter the path that I'm intended on going. Now, Jay knows and T knows too. It's times when I hit you and I'm like, man,
I'm about to tap out.
Bro, I can't. You know what I'm saying? I called off today. My boy, it's 11:30. Yeah, I said I'm good. Or else I was gonna do, but I feel like if we got 365 chances to get it right, we ain't gonna be 100%. You're gonna have times when you got those days, and that's all right. So I definitely agree with it.
This is what I find amazing what you just said. You call us and be like, yo, guys, I'm in this space. To a certain degree, that's you listening to your nervous system, and us, me and T, knowing where you are at, being that how honest you are, I can speak for it, and I know Tyler can speak for it. We've never said, nah, you should do what you got to do. We're like, yo, good. Bro, listen to yourself, man. We're here. Talk to us. And 9 times out of 10, B, our conversations on the phone, our catch-ups, 3 of us, whatever it is, just the simple fact that we get to talk automatically helps that mood. Automatically. Because then all of a sudden, you know you're not crazy. Because the old saying is, I remember this when I was living in the Bay Area, I saw a lot of people with the sticker, just because you think it doesn't make it right. Right? And I kept on seeing that sticker on people's cars. And that's crazy. And then I thought about it. I'm like, it's funny. You keep on saying something to yourself over and over and over again. Political, physical, how you feel about yourself, your friends, whoever it may be. You start to believe it after a while. And the minute you speak to somebody else and they don't give you what you want back, but it makes you listen for yourself, it's dope. So again,
worse, Jay. Thoughts become things.
Yeah.
Thoughts truly become things. So if you marinate on the negative of a person, I don't like this dude. This person always, it will become true. It will become the thing but it all ties back to what we heard in the clip. That energy is what you're putting out.
1,000%.
And if we're all magnets, you're going to get it back. Today, tomorrow, in due time, you will get it back.
In life, very few things are guaranteed. Death, taxes, and the NBA GOAT debate. You can run, you can hide, but eventually, it'll always find its way back into your life.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best player ever in basketball?
LeBron James. Messi versus Ronaldo.
Who would be the next?
LeBron ain't catching MJ.
What LeBron's accomplished over the course of his career, it makes him the GOAT.
Hold on. You said LeBron James the greatest player ever?
Ever.
What about Michael and Kobe? So you just gonna pass Kobe up like that?
I'm gonna pass Kobe up. I'm gonna look at Michael. Kobe Bryant couldn't fill, or Michael Jordan fill LeBron's shoes.
I would like you to rank these legendary basketball players from best to worst. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant.
You know what I'm going to answer, but I'm not going to answer it because then everybody's going to sit there and debate about it. It's fine. I'm the best. Michael's second best.
So, just to be 1,000% clear with all y'all listening, I can care less who's a GOAT for anything. Point blank, period.
No.
And I'm not saying this for my brothers here, going to say whoever they feel. I'm not into the lists. And typically this list, as me and B talked about, and Tyler, the lists usually come across when it's folks of color, which is real weird. And I'm not going to get caught up in it. Don't get me wrong, as a young kid, I swore this with Jordan. I swore this with whatever sneaker, because I'm a sneakerhead, this, that, and the third. I'm good. I think there's a space in which, and I know, pick a team. I know, man without an island, sure. I'm good. And everybody got a position.
Nah, man.
Go ahead.
Why we don't hear Larry Bird or Dirk Nowitzki? Only can pick one. Go. Why? Why are we not hearing it right now? Luka or Dirk? Who's the best? We don't hear that. Who's the best math? But shit, we hear it all. LeBron or Kobe? LeBron or Jordan?
Biggie or Tupac?
We gotta always kill off one of our greats, and I don't like that shit. Which is why my take is it's a GOAT tier in everything. That's how I look at the shit. First of all, I'm gonna appreciate greatness, because I'm not gonna live. I ain't gonna live to be 80 and be like, I've had the same greatest of all time for 79. Nah, fuck that. Because I'm not appreciating what I'm seeing if I'm thinking so close-minded, right? Exactly. So I've always viewed it as a GOAT tier. And for me, in that tier, and what qualifies you to be in that GOAT tier, obviously statistics, obviously the eye test, obviously generational stars. How many stars have you kept? You forever second team until I retire, my guy. You know what I'm saying? How many have you kept away from standing at the podium? Influence on culture, influence on the game. When you consider these categories, it's hard not to say Kobe, Jordan, LeBron, not in that order, but in my order. Yeah, that's my order. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying?
I love the tier thing, but I also love the greatness point. I love greatness. You name the sport, you name the genre of music, You name music in general, I'll tell you the greats. Who's better than the other? Does it come down to awards? Whatever, I can get into that. All three of us are athletes. And don't get me wrong, I step on the court, I step on the field. I think in my head, and whatever I do performance-wise, I'm the greatest to be out there. Point blank, period. Right. And I guess that transcends into what people want to make themselves into. I can get into the whole social media and making a comment for yourself. And the minute LeBron was about to score the scoring title, there was a whole thing on ESPN about the greatness. I get it. You're selling numbers, you're getting likes. Cool. But I'm the greatness dude. If you're great at something, fantastic. And I need to give you your flowers, which we could talk about later. You need to get the flowers when you're alive. Not
even
later.
Jordan.
Not Bill Russell with the number 6. Number 6 should have been retired a minute ago, but we'll talk about that later.
I think even Jordan was asked, he was like, you think he's the GOAT? And he was like, no, because I'm not going to call myself that because it's disrespectful to the people he would put himself over. So it's just, the GOAT talk is just rooted in even though it's, the GOAT question, you're trying to get someone to give props and boost up somebody. You can't boost them up without pushing down the people you're putting them over. So it's just rooted in disrespectful. It's almost like a disrespectful compliment, kind of like a backhanded compliment. Like, you're the GOAT, so forget LeBron and Kobe and Kareem. Like, it downplays everything they did. So, I maybe put an S at the end and make them GOATs, right? I like the Mount Rushmore question more. Like, if you want to come to who's on your Mount Rushmore or that kind of thing. But But yeah, to do the whole GOAT thing and just like the singular who's better and then the rest are just a bunch of bums kind of rubs me the wrong way for sure.
I don't want it in a sense because I think it disrespects Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, all the guys that prior to me I never had a chance to play against. What everybody's saying I am, I never had the chance to compete against other legends that was prior to me. When I hear it, I cringe a little bit because, it's a little bit embarrassing because no one knows.
And I'm going to pull that thread that Jay laid down. That was perfectly said, T, but I got to go back and pull Jay's thread because he tried to get out easy. It only happens when it's our shit.
For real.
Yeah, I don't hear who's better, John Lennon, David Bowie, Elton John.
Nigga.
I don't hear that.
It's real shit.
Who's the greatest writer of all time? Go. Greatest movie of all time? Go.
George Clooney, Leonardo DiCaprio, or like, it's not.
It's mighty funny. It's more than a coincidence that subconsciously we talk about killing our GOATs, and in hip hop, we lose a lot of our GOATs that way. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like the thought of, we just talked about energy. We just talked about thoughts become things.
Boom.
And all across the world, we talking about this or that. Only one.
It's so competition based too, and we need less of that in the Black community. Like, it's too much of it. So, I can do without it because it's too much competition and it's too much because even with our kids, even without GOATs, right? Even it's always got to be my shoes are better than yours. My parents' car is better than it's always competition based, and we need less of that overall as a people. So why not get rid of it for our elite members? So
I like that point, T. That's a true point.
I love it. And it's like, again, me, I'm always going to reference something cultural that I love to do and be a part of. Like one of my favorite groups, Natural Elements. They have a track, if you will, album called Crabs in the Bucket. And they talk about it. It's like this crabs in the bucket mentality, right? 1 minute somebody's trying to get out, that crab in a bucket is always trying to get one over. Even with the conversation of a GOAT, the greatest of all time, it always gets
pigeonholed. We talk about how it only happens with our stuff in our community, or it happens in our community at a higher frequency. And I read, this book that I love, one of my favorite books, 3 Magic Words. Competition and creativity are opposites. If the Black community is always competing, no wonder why we can't create a better situation for ourselves.
Interesting.
I just drew that parallel hearing you say that. We've always been competitive, as T beautifully said. Clothes, mine is better than yours. I got this.
Bro, look at your shoes, bro. Look at your shoes, bro. Like, those are fake ass Jordan. Those are mids. Like,
and then T, even a step further, people will come up and stomp on your shit and want to fight.
What are those? Like, it's competition. That shit is funny. What are those?
It just proves my point. Like, if I'm using that line from 3 Magic Words as an example, competition and creativity can't coexist. You're either competing or you're creating. And creating is what we should all be trying to do. That's what we're here to do on this earth. Create life, better circumstances, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. You can't do that competing. And then I look at us and I wonder why we have some of the same problems we've been facing for decades now. This is something we really want to start incorporating into Hunger for More. It's really part of our IP and who we are. It's my last song. So every episode, each one of us is going to pick a song that we feel either speaks to the theme, speaks to us. It's only right that we crack off the end of this one with a Nip Hussle track. And for me, I'm going to go with The Miracle off Mailbox Money for many reasons. Obviously, this is that in-between period right before Victory Lap dropped. So everything Nip put out, like, we were all consuming and just like, damn, he's going to come with it when Victory Lap finally comes. But more importantly for me, like, it really speaks to Nip's inspirations. The sample you're going to hear from it, it's a song that's used as the end credit in the movie Crash. If you haven't seen that, it's one of my favorites. Super dope. But for him to pull that track and do what he does with it, it's unbelievable. We talk about GOAT tier and what we use for GOAT tier when it comes to sports. And I really feel like this is one of those GOAT tracks for Nip, where it all came together. So this is a miracle. Peace.
Supposed to change up. I was been supposed to fold all this pressure. I was been supposed to change up. Nigga, what would I look like? I come from the hood, I represent the only way up. Had to hustle, boy, I'm trying to touch the toy. I'm trying to fuck these LA streets up. Think it's safe to say that I did it. Look, nigga, all black, everything. In my 600 bands with a heavy chain. Look, you deserve a real nigga with money and some things in life that won't never change. Me, fell in love with a Cuban. A celebrity herself, probably fuck with her music. She the one that the shoe fit, but I can't stop her love. Look how the game has seduced us. Benny Hollins of the real Crips. Lot of new responsibilities with all of this influence. Spinning racks therapeutic, so I snowflake the face like ACs in my new shit. One button where the roof went. TMZ taking shots, say cheese for the news clips. Dope boys and the boosters, gangbangers and hoopers. My style is inclusive. The streets is abusive, but it's like my nigga wanna survive, gotta shoot shit. Hella thick skin, never bruise quick. Yellow wrist and some 7-speed shit. I talk to you on some 7D shit. All visual nigga, going digital nigga. Not the smartest nigga, but it's visual nigga. My understanding on a level kinda different, my nigga. Every time I drop the city of feeling. Every time you hate, you gotta be kidding. Every time I pull up to foreigners kidded and I can't even really walk through the Beverly Center. Hudson jeans on, ain't the regular denim. I bought the 600, not the regular Benzes. Famous without a deal, that ain't regular nigga. Tired of telling you niggas, I'm not a regular nigga. No, I was been supposed to change up. I was been supposed to fold all this pressure. I was been supposed to change up. Nigga, what would I look like? I come from the hood, I represent the only way up. Had to hustle, boy, I'm trying to touch the toy. I'm trying to fuck these LA streets up. Think it's safe to say that I did it.